Exhumed body update. Was there child neglect? Reason for death pending. Reports, by Donald Jaramillo. Beacon editor. Cibola County. Several weeks ago, public safety officials exhumed a small body from a grave site inside of the aggressive Christianity Missions Training Corps property near Fence Lake, in southern Cibola County, after a missing persons report was filed by Brian Miller of Santa Fe on his family, a wife and 5 boys. Officials learned that one of the boys had died and was last seen on the aggressive Christianity property. Owners of the property, James and Deborah Green, and the boy's mother, Stacy Miller, reported to officials that Enoch had suffered from the flu and eventually died. Nearly 2 years ago, Brian Miller was an aggressive Christianity member for more than 15 years, and until 2 years ago when he was asked to leave by the Greens because of alleged abuse on his wife, them, and other members. Quote, "The reality is, Brian Miller is a deadbeat dad," unquote, a representative of aggressive Christianity said via email. Quote, "and gave no contact nor support to his family for 2.5 years. After he walked out of the residence of Generals James and Deborah Green after they sought to get him to seek medical help for a genetic medical condition that was reported to the Greens by his biological family," unquote. An autopsy is being done on the body that was exhumed 2 weeks ago in order to verify it is of Enoch, the Miller's oldest boy, who was last seen in 2014. In addition, officials are hoping they can also find out how Enoch passed away. There is concern from public safety officials as to how Enoch passed, and why there is no paperwork on the child, including a birth certificate, which is required by state law. Shortly after the body was exhumed on February 9, the Greens and their son reported their grandson missing because they learned from a report by the Beacon. Their daughter-in-law, quote, escaped, unquote, from the aggressive Christianity property in January and was assisted by 2 deputies from the Cibola County Sheriff's Office. The Beacon learned of the escape from an incident report led at the Sheriff's Office last week. The Greens sent the Beacon an email in regard to their missing grandchild and asked why the Sheriff's Office was not responding to their missing persons report in the same fashion they did of the Miller's boy. Sheriff Tony May said on Wednesday Detective Steve Chavez took the call but done nothing, because he learned the child and the daughter-in-law are not missing and are in good health. "We know where they are at and the child is with its mother. The mother is an adult and has a right to reside where she wants," unquote. Mace went on in explaining the proper steps the Greens and their son need to take to gain access to their family member. Quote, "He needs to file for divorce and a parenting plan needs to be created for custody. If there was a plan in place and it was not being followed, we could get involved, but at this point our hands are tied because there is no plan. The Greens need to file the proper paperwork," unquote. The Greens still feel that the sheriff's staff is not being as responsive to their complaints as they are of others, in particular Brian Miller's. They also feel their daughter-in-law did not, quote, escape, unquote, as there is a way out of their small community anytime because the front gate is open to the highway and the one restraint is a cable of which the sheriff and his deputies were able to step over. Quote, "There was no escape," unquote, said the aggressive Christianity member. There is concern from public safety officials because there is no paperwork on Enoch, his 4 siblings who are with their mother, and other members including another person who died and was buried next to Enoch, according to Mace. Also, pending the results of the autopsy, officials may want to further question the mother considering allegedly there was no effort to get medical help for her dying son and possibly leading to child neglect charges. The Greens say they repeatedly asked the mother, Stacy, to consider such action. Deborah voiced frustration earlier this week in regard to a dirt road that was damaged when the public safety officials exhumed the body. Sheriff Mace and County Road Manager Gary Porter were on the Greens property this week, and Mace said the county is going to fix it. About aggressive Christianity. Aggressive Christianity Missions Training Corps is a volunteer mission-oriented spirit army whose purpose is to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the world. Quote,
We publish, print, and distribute free of charge Christian literature and have sent literature to 250 nations over the years.
Unquote, said Deborah Green. Members live communally, as is demonstrated in the Book of Acts, chapter 2. The group also trains, mostly online now, and sends missionaries into all the world. Quote,
We are born again, spirit-filled, water-baptized, believers in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
Deborah added, quote,
We are not a registered church or organization or denomination, but are a grassroots movement of believers who believe that aggressive Christianity is a way of life, believing in Him and following Jesus.
End quote. The group is self-supportive, and they believe in Protestant work ethic as their means. Quote, As to our volunteer headquarters in Fence Lake, the number of people here changes continually as men and women and their children go out on missions. And others come in for refreshing in the vision, unquote, said Deborah via email.